All right, so welcome to another Brainworks lecture video for civic education. If I'm not mistaken, I believe this is our topic 3. And today we're going to use a different approach because I actually think your civic education textbook actually explained this particular topic well. It's a topic on citizenship. And with civic education, I always advise you not to study things in isolation. You have to be able to connect the dots. Like, for example, we started with understanding what the Constitution is and what governance is. And all those topics had citizenship and human rights interconnected between those topics. So you have to be able to interconnect all these civic education topics, or else civic education is going to appear a little bit boring and you're going to forget a lot of things. And the strange part about civic education is you have your textbook. It's a very good textbook. And the only thing that you have to do is actually finish the textbook and do the past paper questions. And it is my hope that this lecture series that we're doing for civic education is going to do exactly that. Or at least it's going to do at least 85% of that, so that you at least go with 85% of the knowledge that we've discussed into the exam room, and you'll be able to answer 1 or 2 questions and actually pass your exam. So citizenship. So when we talk about citizenship, we're talking about this intricate, intertwined relationship between the individual. It's a relationship. So you as an individual with the state or the country that you are in. So that's what citizenship is. And the citizen is the member in that state who decides who to elect, who decides on the constitution, and who enjoys all the rights and privileges granted by the state and is able to perform specific duties of the state. So in as much as you are a citizen and in as much as you are choosing your government and making changes towards your constitution, you have certain duties to perform as a citizen that you cannot escape from, unless if you want to denounce your citizenship. Therefore, this term is actually summed up in a word called allegiance, which is the readiness of a citizen to protect his or her own country in times of threat, and is able to do the duties of the country, like what's happening with the Ukrainians. They are giving up their jobs and going to the front lines to defend their country. That's the allegiance they have towards the country. So there are 2 aspects of citizenship. Where are we? Okay, great. Let me actually just use my mouse to be easier to flow. There are 2 aspects of citizenship, which is the legal aspect, where you have to be a good law-abiding citizen, and the moral aspect, where you have to have a good conscience towards your own country. So the legal aspect of the citizenship, here a citizen is recognized by the laws, and he or she must receive the protection from his state, both within the state and abroad. So your human rights and the laws that protect your human rights have to be protected by the law, under the rule of law, whether you're abroad or whether you are within the country. And the citizen, under the legal aspect, must enjoy total freedom from property and political rights. When one misuses this freedom, an individual is liable for persecution. So you have to enjoy your full state-given rights, both proprietary, like property laws, and also your political rights. And if an individual goes against the political system, they are actually subject to some criminal persecution. So we also have a moral aspect, like morals. When we talk about morals, we're now talking about the aspects of ethics. Those of you who want to pursue higher education after getting your grade 12 certificate, you're going to encounter the word ethics, whether in education or ethics in health or ethics in the legal system or ethics in education, if you want to do teaching. So morals, think about ethics, what's good and what's right. That's what I want you to focus on. So this means that a citizen must have a sense of responsibility to fulfill all duties given by the state. This includes the duty to obey the law and defend the country, the ethics I was talking about. Moral aspect also encourages a citizen to be self-disciplined and have self-control. No vandalism, don't do bad, do good to others, good or bad morals. He or she must have good and honorable sense to the state and the family he or she belongs to. So being a citizen goes beyond the political aspect, but it also dives into the bureaucratic nature of family systems. And you have to have that moral aspect towards your own family. Here, the citizen enjoys the rights given by the state, such as defending the country, although this right of defending the country, it's more of an allegiance, and it's not necessarily a right. It's like a moral aspect of self-will and patriotism that an individual has towards their country. So who is an alien? Not an extraterrestrial being from out of space that you see in the movies, but the word alien actually has a social science definition. So an alien is a person residing within the country, but they're not enjoying all the rights that that country has to offer because they do not have that full citizenship within the country. So an alien is a person staying in the country, they are residing in the country, which is not his or her own. No wonder they call them alien, meaning from outside. So alien. The country in which an alien is found is called the host country. Much less like biology, when we talk about parasitism, when someone has a parasite like some form of worm, like Ascaris lubricoides, that parasitic worm, these long worms, we as the human being will be the host. So we'll be the host species of those parasitic worms. So in much the same way, think about the country where that parasite or that alien is. And by the way, there is a distinction between an alien and a foreigner. A foreigner is an alien, but they sort of escaped their country because of maybe the political landscape of the country was not favorable and they fled. So they become, or not refugees, sorry. There's a difference between an alien and a refugee. So sorry about that. So the alien host country, that's their temporal residence until they gain full citizenship. So an alien does not enjoy all the rights such as voting, I mentioned that, but they do enjoy all other rights that are, for example, religious rights and educational rights. They have a right to be educated, they have a right to practice their religion freely because that's in line with our Zambian constitution that we discussed. An alien does not enjoy all the rights. However, all foreigners enjoy civil rights, like I've mentioned. An alien should obey all the rules of the host country. When an alien misconducts him or herself by not obeying the rules of the country, such as paying taxes, he or she can be deported to his or her own country, unless if they flee to their local embassy, then the Zambian rules won't apply to them when they're within that embassy. Though an alien should pay tax as a duty, he or she is not duty bound to take arms to defend their host country because they do not have an allegiance towards their host country. They do not have that full patriotism. They can actually say, oh, Zambia is nice. There are a lot of friendly people. I actually like this country. But when there is maybe a civil war that has broken out, or a war with a neighboring country, that alien or that foreigner is going to leave their host country because they have no allegiance towards the country, Zambia. So there are certain different kinds of citizenship. And, I just want you, when it comes to these definitions, you should actually you have to know what English is. For example, natural citizenship and naturalized. Which one sounds more organic between naturalized and natural? Of course, natural sounds more organic. So a natural citizen is one can become a natural citizen through, two rules. These are actually interesting rules. The rule of jus sanguinis and the rule of jus soli. I like these two rules. So a natural citizen who becomes a citizen through being born in a country or parents being born in that country of your own. So that these are the two different scenarios. So place of birth and blood relation. So the rule of jus soli, the rule of jus soli, like soil, think of soil and think of place of birth. This rule states that a person becomes a citizen through their place of birth. For example, Zambian parents living in South Africa, when they give birth to a child, that child is South African at birth. Hence, she or he is a citizen of South Africa. No wonder a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Mexican pregnant women would like to actually cross the US border illegally because they know that when they give birth on American soil, that child is automatically an American because of this rule of jus soli. And then there's the rule of jus sanguinis. This rule Okay, sorry about that. We encountered a little bit of internet connection error. So what I'm going to do is I'll pause the recording, then try to continue. All right, so I hope the video will synchronize from the previous recording and this recording that I just paused. So we're talking about natural citizen, then we're going to have to contrast that to naturalized citizen. And the first one, we did say that natural citizen, the rule of jus soli, think of soil, and that should be synonymous with place of birth. Meaning if you're born in that country, you automatically become a citizen of that country. Then there's another rule called the rule of jus sanguinis, which is blood relation. So this states that citizenship depends on blood relationships. This means that the citizenship depends on where one's parents were born. So this actually leaves room for even dual citizenship. For example, Zambian parents living in Zimbabwe, the child they have in Zambia, because of their parents, are Zambians. So you've seen that, right? Despite them living in Zimbabwe, the child born in Zimbabwe will become a Zimbabwean citizen. But because this child has Zambian parents and they can come back to Zambia and say, here's my NRC, here's my NRC, the child is Zambian. And this also allows for dual citizenship, like I've explained. Therefore, when you are a citizen through one of the above rules, you are referred to as a natural citizen. So rule of jus soli, which is soil, then rule of jus sanguinis, which is a blood relation. So let's now talk about the aspect of naturalized citizen, like an artificial form of citizenship. A naturalized citizen is a foreigner who has acquired citizenship of a host country through meeting certain criteria. For example, if someone has stayed more than 10 years within the country of Zambia, they can become a Zambian citizen. That's called the rule of residence. You can actually start highlighting certain things so that you see properly. Disconnecting this so that I highlight certain things so that you can see. I'll use red, green as usual. So a naturalized citizen, what I wanted to highlight was this rule of residence. So this states that when an alien lives in a host country for a certain period of time, you actually gain citizenship. In Zambia, it's 10 years. There's something that's usually commonly referred to as a green card in the United States, where if you marry a citizen, you automatically acquire citizenship through your spouse. A host country can demand evidence of good character before allowing an alien to have citizenship. So after you get your green card through marriage, you can actually go through a citizenship interview with your spouse where you prove you've been married for this amount of time, and you actually, have that allegiance and moral character so that you are granted citizenship through marriage. The host country may find out the alien's wealth, professional skills, and the skill in the official language of the nation. So it would be like an interview of some sort. Those who have gotten visas before, you do know that sometimes you are screened and you are asked certain questions before you can actually travel. Principle of declaration on prescribed form. Principle of declaration on prescribed form. So this requires an alien to fill in a prescribed, so this form should have a list of criteria. So fill in a prescribed application form and provide necessary documents declaring that he or she wants to apply for citizenship in the host country. So you can actually declare, and this usually works well for refugees, where they can, after staying in the country, after proving certain skills, they can actually apply for citizenship using the principle principle of declaration form. The alien must even publish he or her declaration in the Daily Mail newspaper, although this is a little bit archaic. I don't think it's done anymore, but yeah. Under this principle, an alien can become a naturalized citizen of the host country. So there is also renunciation of previous citizenship. If you are not comfortable with the norms of your country or the constitution of your host country, you can actually renounce your previous citizenship and join another citizenship after declaration. So this requires an alien applying for citizenship to give up his or her previous citizenship and take on an oath of allegiance of the host country. This is known as expatriation. So these are certain key terminologies that you actually have to know, because they may actually come in MCQs or that one-word answer section. So you can highlight it in your brain restitution book or just write it somewhere so that you do not forget. I'm using this scanner. So a naturalized citizen can either be partial or complete. So partial citizenship is a type where a citizen it's partial, so it's not full. So you don't enjoy all the full rights and privileges of the country, like voting, for example. And then if you're a complete citizen, you're enjoying every right and privileges, and you can even take part in political affairs relating to your country because you've actually joined allegiance. So let's now down to Zambia. So we have to look at the qualifications for Zambian citizenship. A person who has been originally a resident of Zambia as a foreigner for a continuous period of 10 years can actually apply for citizenship, or a person whose parents were born in Zambia. So that's natural versus naturalized citizenship. The symbol of a Zambian citizen is a green national registration card that's obtained at 16 years of age, and a passport can also be proof of citizenship. How can a naturalized citizen lose citizenship? You're not following the law of your host country, definitely. Acquiring a new citizenship of another country and renouncing the Zambian citizenship, so renunciation and expatriatization, and committing a serious crime. Like, of course, you are here in Zambia, but you're under another government as a spy for that country. You can actually lose your citizenship. So how can one lose citizenship in other countries? So if one is continuously absent from the home state for a long period of time, you are born, you travel to China for education, you come back, you're gone again, things like that. Take up employment under a foreign government, that usually happens, or gets married to a foreigner, and as such, a person decides to acquire citizenship of the spouse, the green card that I was referring to. So where there is citizenship, there is the rule of law, there is sovereignty, there is allegiance. So because of those things that I've just mentioned, there should be certain qualities of a good citizen. And this usually comes as a discussion, or it can come as an essay. So you have to live up to democratic principles, such as voting honestly, no malpractice, be able to contribute towards national development. Don't just sit and wait for development to come by government. Take arms as a citizen and help develop your country. Have a form of intelligence. Understand the interests of your community. Intelligence doesn't mean you are educated in school. Intelligence means you have the ability to think critically and analyze and make observations on things that are needed in your community and how you can actually make an impact within that community. You have to have a sense of self-control, meaning everything has a cause and effect, and you have that conscious that, okay, if I do something, it may have a negative impact on the community that I am living in, which also feeds into conscious, a sense of responsibility of towards the community, such as performing all the duties of the country, and also having an ethical morale. You have to have courage, the strength to stand without fear when doing duties of the nation, even if it means you standing on the front lines. You have to have respect of the law, of the rule of law. Empathy, you have to have the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes. That's where compassion comes from. Perseverance, you have to have will, like willingness to attempt multiple times continuously to achieve your goals. And finally, you have to love your country. So you have to have patriotism towards the state that you are in, the country that you are in. There are certain duties that every citizen has to uphold on a personal and on a civil level. Personal level, that's where you have to take care of yourself, your personal hygiene. You have to protect your family. You have to have ethics, so adhering to morals, principles, and values of one society, respecting the rights and interests of others. And there are also, civic or civil responsibilities, such as paying taxes, obeying the law, respecting the rights of others, participating in civic activities such as voting and performing public services, maintaining and observing security, of the nation. So at least know these so that they can come out in an essay. And a good way of remembering that, I've given you an opportunity to actually listen to your notes, read your notes, watch the video continuously. You're not going to forget these things. So it will be easier for you to study and understand this. So factors hindering good citizenship. We are living in a world where there is a huge difference between the rich, middle class, and poor people here in Zambia. It's a very vast difference. And because of that gap, that poverty actually hinders someone to actually become a good citizen, because they can't take part in all the national affairs and enjoy everything that the country has to offer because of their living arrangements, their social determinants of health. So vastness. This means that citizens are given very little chance in national affairs. Sometimes there's ignorance where you're not able to actually differentiate between right or wrong. That's the lack of critical thinking and the lack of ethics. And I think ethics have to be taught in our Zambian schools. Indifference or lack of consciousness. Individuals being only concerned about their benefit from the state at the expense of others. So this is actually someone becoming a parasite. Self-interest or selfishness. A person motivated by self-interest avoids public responsibilities. We call those people sociopaths or psychopaths or narcissists. Defects in electoral systems. When there is no free and fair elections, it hinders proper citizenship. Misinformation by the media, which we call propagandalism and fake news, where newspapers, radio and television and the internet may twist the facts or information such that citizens cannot get anything correctly and knowledgeably. So what are some of the ways of promoting good citizenship? Administrative improvements. This means restructure the political and social institution in order to fulfill the wishes of the citizens. Administration is where you have cognitive function, where you have to think and make decisions that are going to benefit the citizens. So citizens must be well informed about the welfare of the country and must be involved in the constitution making process. There should be some moral remedies also, like education opportunities, where you're actually increasing the intelligent quotient of the citizens within the country through certain educational campaigns. Stability and justice, free and fair elections. This involves the establishment of security, stability, and justice measures by leaders and citizens. So I think we'll end here because this part feeds into another topic. That's why I had this, when I make my own notes. Because this topic is now human rights, which has to be the next topic. So this, our next topic will be human rights. So this ends our discussion on citizenship. I'm going to upload this video. After uploading this video, I'm going to send you a revision form for citizenship. I'll see you in the next class. Have a nice week. Thanks for your support. This has been Brainworks Education. Bye.